Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Sabine from zennumeralstar.com. Today's video is about how to know if you're chasing your SP and instead how to manifest your SP without being needy. Indeed, this video is going to help you understand how to manifest your SP without struggling. This video is inspired by one comment on my channel, so thank you so much. Keep the great questions coming. This is going to be a longer video than usual, but I believe that if you see the trail of thoughts that a woman can go through, you will be able to relate to at least one aspect of a story, and therefore you will understand what you can do instead. So first, how to know if you are chasing your SP. Sometimes we women have no clue that we are doing that we are indeed chasing our SP. And to be honest with you, in the past, I thought I wasn't chasing SPs when I wasn't blowing their phones one way or another. I thought that one text here and there was innocent enough, and usually they are. See, it depends on the intention that you used when you sent the text or placed that phone call. Look at this example. I'm sure you will be able to tell the difference. Guess whose example I'm going to take again? For those of you who have just answered Mary and John, well done. I'm going to take Mary as an example. So, let's say that Mary is starting to date John. She's not sure if John likes her because last night he drove her home after a good evening together. They had a good time eating in a fancy restaurant and they had great conversations. But now she's home and she has no clue if she's going to ever see John again. And now she starts freaking out. She starts imagining the worst case scenario, which for her would be that he is not going to contact her ever again without any explanation. After all, this wouldn't be the first time that a guy stops contacting her all of a sudden. But she already likes John and she doesn't want that new story to stop. So now that she's thinking about ways to get noticed, how about a quick text to say she loved the evening? Or maybe wait until tomorrow in case he finally realizes how great she is and sends her a good morning text. Oh my God, and what if he doesn't? She now wonders if she can expect a text or if she is being needy. After all, this is not too much to ask to be contacted by a guy you like, right? The next morning, she's not quite too sure what to think, but the morning text didn't come. Oh God, not a good sign, she thinks. She tries to remember the types of a conversation they had last night. She is now afraid that maybe she talked too much about herself or asked John too many questions. This is a right nightmare. At lunchtime, she asks her friend and colleague for her advice. She says, "Listen, that was a great evening, but the fact is that John hasn't said anything about another date, and he hasn't texted me after dropping me home. What do you think, and what should I do?" Now, for the little story, Mary's friend knows the topping by heart because this always happens to her, and so she tells Mary, "Mary, trust me, this has happened to me so many times that I don't want you to have high hopes. If John hasn't contacted you by now, he's probably not that into you. Sorry, in my experience, men always go for what they want. They like the hunt, so forget about him." Mary is now super upset and she believes that John is not a good man after all. Her thoughts are looping on the negative. And guess what? She is so convinced that John is not going to contact her that he doesn't. That's too bad because he was just thinking of surprising her with flowers, with a sweet note to invite her out on another date. But Mary doesn't know about that. And John now thinks that maybe Mary is not into him. Because remember, everybody is you pushed out, so he got that feeling. And he decides to forget about her. 2 days after, Mary is still very much upset and she's still thinking about John. Oh God, that man, I swear to God. She wishes she had never met him to start with. Okay, she heard somewhere that she needs to affirm and persist in her affirmations, that she doesn't have to believe in her affirmations for her affirmations to work in her favor, so that's fine. And John will eventually come back to her. 1 week goes by. No news from John. Mary has a hard time to sleep. She's trying to understand what she's doing wrong or what she did wrong. She knows that she has some power, so she keeps affirming more and more. She records her affirmations and listens to them while she walks. She checks her phone every 5 minutes. Still no news from John. She feels sad and hurt every time she thinks about John now. If she could only see him for another date, he would know how great she truly is. So Mary thinks, and how about a text to see if he's doing well? One simple text is not going to ruin everything, right? She keeps her finger crossed that John is going to text her back. Oh my God, and what if he doesn't? She thinks about the perfect text. She thinks that she asks the questions so that John will be more likely to text her back with an answer. That's it. She is sending a text to John. She has heart palpitations. She's looking at her phone. Oh, he's reading it. Surely that's a good sign. Oh God, why isn't he answering then? Oh my God, what if he thinks the text is too much? Or too long? Or too stupid? Come on, it's a simple text. What's wrong with this guy? Okay, so this is the context. And now let's have a look at Mary's mindset for that story. Let's compare notes because I'm sure that you have reached the same conclusions. But what I'm going to talk to you about now is how she has thought and she has felt, and if you can relate to one aspect or another, what you can do instead to rectify the situation. Number 1, Mary's point of focus was John. John is the prize. It is difficult to hear from John. She is putting a lot of value in John, and she is putting John on a pedestal. At no moment did she think that John had an equal great time and couldn't wait to see her again. All her thoughts were on him. She is nowhere in the picture. If you want to manifest your SP, the center of command is within you, and it's not the SP about what the SP thinks or what he feels or whatever. If you are confident about what he felt and what he thought, that's it, job done. Mistake number 2, Mary jumps to conclusions, not knowing that because her conclusions feel realistic to her, her subconscious mind will accept her theory and will manifest her fears. So if you are manifesting your SP, be mindful of what you believe to be true. If what you believe to be true is something negative about you, about the relationships in general, or the SP, change that. Mistake number 3. Mary used affirmations as a technique, not realizing that affirmations are conscious thoughts, but not subconscious thoughts. She needs to connect, so affirming in a loop something that contradicts what she feels deep down, and especially what she feels is real, is not going to do it for her. In other words, she will think that she has done some effort because she has been affirming non-stop for days, but nothing happened. So either her affirmations didn't work or a manifestation doesn't work, she might think. Well, affirmations do work. They are a great help and help you focus in the right direction, especially affirmations with inner conversations and stories, and manifesting works also. But Mary didn't consider that her subconscious beliefs will always win over her affirmations if her affirmations haven't connected. So you need to connect with your affirmations if you want them to support you in your manifestations. Affirmations do not walk on their own. You need to give them direction. Mistake number 4. Mary hasn't understood that as she affirms, as well as all the scenarios she has imagined, Without knowing what is really going on, she has given instructions to John without knowing it. Remember, everybody, is you pushed out again? When Mary believed that John wasn't into her, that energetic belief went straight to John, who had no choice in the matter but to interact with Mary the way she thought he would. In this case, no interaction whatsoever, because he was not in contact. Use everybody is you pushed out in your favor by having good thoughts about you and your SP, about your SP and about relationships. If you believe that your SP is not good for you or isn't into you, those thoughts will go to him or to them, and they will feel icky when they think about you. Expand your heart as much as possible. You will not regret it. Mistake number 5. When Mary sent a text, she unconsciously expected not to receive an answer. And as she was looking anxiously at her phone, all she was doing, without knowing that she was working against her objective, was to look for evidence that John was not going to contact her. So just a word on this, because this is quite important. When you are manifesting something or someone, do not start looking for its materialization. Remember that you shouldn't worry yourself with the how or the when you'll get it, but you will. I had those experiences myself, even for small manifestations. When I first started to test manifesting with small asks, I was looking everywhere for it to manifest. But because nothing was coming to me, I thought, oh, maybe I'm delusional and nothing is working. This is all very a fairy tale. But one day I was working on a project, and the small asks came running to me so quickly and without any effort on my side that I had to rethink what I was thinking about manifesting. And I understand that this is quite tricky, because of course when you want something, you are in the lookout for it to manifest, right? But in the manifesting realm, this is counterproductive. This is when manifestors think that it was when they let go that their desire came to them. It's not exactly what is happening in the background. It is when we leave our desire alone for it to unfold in unexpected ways that they will manifest. So on that note, because it is very important that you master that aspect of manifestation. So I have written a blog post, the latest blog post on this subject, and it is in the description down below. Mistake number 6. Mary confided it to a friend, knowing that the friend had a history of being ghosted, as it's called. Inevitably, her friend was going to tell her something negative about John. And if Mary trusts her friend, what she tells her will work against herself. So you can totally confide into a friend, but if you do, please make sure that your friend is non-judgmental and that they have the ability to stop you if you start thinking negatively about your SP. You do not want anyone telling you that you don't stand a chance and that your SP is probably dating someone else by now. No. Plus, it isn't true, since you are the only person manifesting what you will ever experience in your own quantum bubble. So have thoughts leading to positive experiences only. Mistake number 7. Mary did her best to understand what was going on. Going within is not overanalyzing your situation. If we could manifest like that, we would all be rich and famous. You see what I mean? Going within is focusing on self without feeling bad about the situation, otherwise known as circumstances. Now, in the comment, there was also a mention about playing games and not knowing how to answer a phone call or a text. Well, if you were in a committed relationship right now, texting your guy would feel natural to you. I'll give you a little trick. If you are afraid that your SP will dislike receiving your texts, You could affirm something like, "It is reassuring for me to know that my SP loves receiving my texts." Maybe this could help, or maybe you need to adjust the wording. I used something similar, to be honest with you, some time ago. I stopped after a while because it is better to focus on your self-concept rather than wondering how the SP is going to react if you text them. I will conclude by saying that if you need to prepare yourself mentally a lot before sending a text, ask yourself if the text is necessary and how you would feel if they don't text back. It is important because if you can answer honestly that you won't care, you're good to go. If you answer, however, that it would hurt you, you're not good to go and you are unfortunately being needy. Thank you very much for watching this video. I know you can do it. You know that I believe in you. So on that note, happy manifesting.